Welcome to a slow, beginner-friendly lesson on attributes and methods in Python, made for absolute beginners. The dot, carefully. Today we slow down on the most common thing you will type in Python, the dot. You have seen it already, math.sqrt, hello.upper. What is the dot actually doing? It reaches inside an object. Behind the dot lie two kinds of things, attributes, which are data, and methods, which are tools. We look at many small examples until the dot feels like breathing. Most common thing you type. Last lesson you learned that everything in Python is an object, a value with things attached. Today we zoom in on the dot, how you reach those attachments. There are two kinds, attributes, which are data the object knows, and methods, which are tools the object can run. The dot reaches both. The difference is simple, methods need parentheses, attributes do not. Two kinds behind the dot, one small punctuation mark that opens everything. The dot reaches inside an object. One dot opens everything. Math.py is an attribute. It is a value stored behind the dot. No parentheses, you are reading data, not calling a function. Math.e is another attribute. Attributes answer the question, what does this object know? The math module knows pi and e. You reach them by name, with the dot. Read it as, math.py, give me the value of pi stored in math. Data, no parentheses. Math.sqrt is a method. It is a function attached behind the dot. Parentheses are required, you are calling the tool, asking it to do work. Math.floor is another method. Methods answer the question, what can this object do? The math module can compute square roots and round down. You call them by name, with the dot, and give them arguments in parentheses. Tools, call them. Here is the simple rule. If there are parentheses, it is a method, you are calling it. If there are no parentheses, it is an attribute, you are reading a value. Math.py, no parentheses, attribute. Math.sqrt of 9, parentheses, method. If you ever see type error float object is not callable, you probably added parentheses to an attribute. Remove them. Parentheses decide. Strings have attributes too. Double underscore class tells you the type, str. Double underscore doc gives you the documentation string for the type. These double underscore attributes are used mostly by Python itself, but they are real attributes, data stored behind the dot. You will not use them often as a beginner, but it helps to know they exist. Real, but mostly internal, behind the dot lie two things, data the object knows, and tools the object runs. Data versus action. Strings carry many methods. Hello.upper gives back hello. Hello.lower gives back hello. A string with spaces. Strip removes the spaces and gives back hi. Each method is a tool attached to the string object. The string is the object, upper, lower, and strip are methods. You reach them with the dot and call them with parentheses. Tools attached to text. Some methods take arguments. Hello.replace, with arguments L and W, gives back huo, every L becomes a W.
A string a comma b comma c. Split, with argument comma, gives back a list, A, B, C. The method is called with arguments inside the parentheses.
The object provides the tool, you provide the details. You provide the details, a small skill that helps a lot. Read dot notation out loud. Math.py, a value from math. Math.sqrt of 9, call sqrt from math with 9. Hello.upper, call upper on the string hello. A comma b dot split on comma, call split on the string, breaking on commas. Say the object, then the dot, then what you are reaching. When you can read it out loud, you understand it. Object, dot, name, because a method returns a new object, you can chain calls. Strip removes the spaces from the string and returns hello. Then upper on that result returns hello. Read left to right. Or, eta.lower gives eta. Eta.replace, with a and o, gives oto. Chaining is just calling methods on the results of other methods. It keeps code compact when the steps are clear. Read left to right. When the dot feels natural, Python opens up. Every library, every value, same pattern. When it feels natural, dir of a string shows every attribute and method attached to it. You see capitalize, lower, upper, strip, replace, split, join, those are methods. The double underscore names are mostly internal attributes. Dir answers the question, what can this object do? When you do not know whether something exists, ask the object directly with dir. Ask the object. Help on a method shows you what it does. Upper returns a copy of the string converted to uppercase. Short and clear. Help works on any method, just like it works on functions. When dir shows you a name you do not know, help tells you what it does and what arguments it takes. Short and clear. Methods work on variables, not just on literal values. Assign Ada Lovelace to a variable called name. Name.upper gives back Ada Lovelace. Name.split, with no arguments, breaks on spaces and gives a list, Ada, Lovelace. The variable holds the object, the method is reached with the dot. Whether you write the value directly or use a variable, the dot works the same. Same dot, any name. 2 common mistakes. First, forgetting the parentheses. Hello.upper without parentheses does not call the method, it gives you the method object itself. Add parentheses to call it. Second, misspelling a method name. Hello.upper raises attribute error because upper is not a real method. Check the spelling against dir. These errors are common and easy to fix. 2 clear errors. Quick self-check. Can you tell whether something is an attribute or a method by looking at the parentheses? Can you call a method that takes arguments? Can you chain 2 methods together? Can you use dir to see what an object has? If any feels shaky, re-watch that part and try it in your shell. Try each in your shell. The dot reaches inside an object. Attributes are data, no parentheses. Methods are tools, call with parentheses. Dir shows everything behind the dot, help explains each one. That is dot notation in 4 lines. It is the most common thing you will type in Python, and now you know exactly what it does. 4 lines, 1 pattern. Next we compare 2 ways of doing the same job. Sometimes a tool is attached to the object, hello.upper is a method. Sometimes a tool stands alone, len of hello is a function. Both do work on the string. Why the difference? When do you use which? That is the next lesson. Same calm pace, 1 comparison at a time. Methods versus functions. If you want a quick practice, try 5 calls. Math.py, an attribute. Math.sqrt of 16, a method. Hello.upper, a method on a string. A string with spaces.strip, another method. 2 attributes, 3 methods. When you can read each one out loud and explain whether it is data or a tool, the dot is yours. 5 calls, real practice. Thanks for learning dot notation with me. See you in the next lesson on methods versus functions. The dot is yours.